Being the mortuary assistant is actually terrifying. Petrifying, if that. Even the mere thought of having to work alone on the night shift at a place where dead people reside is scary on its own. Stay tuned with me on this journey while I tell you everything I experienced with the game and also where the real demon resides. Hello everyone, welcome back to another Watermelon rating. Today we have the Mortuary Assistant. You've probably seen gameplay of this all over Twitch, maybe a compilation of people getting scared by this game. Perhaps Markiplier is the only form of media you consume, and you still have seen this game. As of late it's been very popular and I thought I'd give it a try. First time loading up the game, it was kind of laughable how not up to date the graphics were, to put it nicely, considering how popular this game has been. Of course this is an indie game and I didn't expect cyberpunk levels of graphics, but this was off-putting, to say the least. For $25, man, I thought I'd get a little bit more, and I'll bring up this topic later in the video as I have a little bit of grief with it. So on your first shift, the tutorial shift, you'll be working along with this guy that I don't remember the name of, and he's laid everything out on the counter for you, and that's going to be very important in a few seconds. So he runs you through the tutorial and everything goes swell, tells you to go home, come back later. There's this apartment sequence, which I think is a part of the game at all points, but I don't understand why. You can interact with some things in the apartment, like chips and stuff, but I don't know why it was in the game. Maybe there's something in the future that has something to do with it, but it's kind of pointless. I haven't unlocked every scene whatsoever, so I'm literally about to YouTube the apartment in the Mortuary Assistant. I'll let you know what I come up with. Yeah, there's nothing here. But I think the idea was that it serves sort of as a sanctuary in between all the chaos of the shifts, because after you complete a shift and you're successful, the idea is that you'll go on another one. On my first shift, it was extremely confusing after walking in and having the door locked behind me. I mean, the idea was that I would be scared by someone at the door, I think, but it was just homeboy locking it down to make sure I don't leave. Sweet. Not that the back door was open or anything. Anyway, he leaves you tapes that will guide you on your mission to exterminating this demon that is in one of the 3 bodies that you have to embalm. After listening to the 3 tapes, I figured out that maybe I can do this. Not to mention the embalming process was tricky to start out with because in the tutorial, like I said, the guy had laid everything out for you on the counter by the window, but now you had to find everything, which I think is a good and bad thing. This is mostly good because it adds to the theory of horror. Not knowing where things are is kind of frightening when you have a demon breathing down your neck. The unfortunate part is if people are going to do more than one shift, this only works as a one-off scare, because by your second shift you probably already know where things are. That is, if you embalmed all 3 bodies and you have the muscle memory of doing the routine over and over again. Hey, just a short little update here. I actually played again, and it turns out that the locations of the items and the tools and whatnot are randomized, so that's the good thing on the devs' part. It's actually contributing to every shift being as scary as possible. But while you're on the job, you'll see a bunch of freaky shit, which I believe most of it is randomized, which is actually a very excellent thing. Creatures looking at you, walking about. Some will pretend to be things that they are not. You'll get scenes about the main character's past and some visions of the future. I have to say this game does really well with the idea of horror, because most of these things aren't exactly scary if you're an average horror consumer. When you see something walking in the corner of your eye, yeah, you're bound to look, but if it's just walking, most times you won't be scared. Or if the tape says, you know, they can pretend to be something that they aren't, and then you see your grandma at the window, I mean, are you really scared by this? Of course, there's the other things like subtle changes. And I'm not even talking about lights flickering. I'm talking about literally cabinets opening and you remember them being closed. That is the freaky part. Of course, there are things you miss in the first glimpse that will come back to scare you later. The demons have voice lines. Things change. It's very ideal horror. And I kid you not, I was most afraid when I thought I was gonna die for backing that ass down the hallway, because I am not looking in front of me. Man, this game is great. But of course it does have a few flaws. Like mentioned before, the graphics aren't that great. When you get scared, it's not high def scaring, it's some pixels running at you. That was a little mean. It's not really just pixels, but you get the gist. There are sequences that will make you jump, but it's just the immersion is ruined when it looks like a blob. One thing I will say though is that people who aren't very smart and don't have very keen eyes will not have fun with this game, or at least will not succeed, because a lot of the demon possession signs are very subtle as you go on in shifts. A lot of the time I was not able to tell what demon it was or what the name was that I was supposed to inscribe in the mark, and I failed a lot. I don't know what it was, but the lettering of the name would not burn. It would not show me if I had a correct letter. And even in the burning papers, I don't remember what they were called, I was certain I had the correct lettering, but it would not show in the mark. Hence me being a lot more frustrated than scared because I was repetitively getting this wrong and not knowing what I was doing wrong. So if you're someone who gives up easily, this game is not for you. Overall, the feel of this game was pretty standard. The eerie psychological horror is actually a really great work, and understandably why people enjoy this game so much. And on a scale from 0 to 5 watermelons, I would probably grant this game 4 out of 5 watermelons. I struggled a lot trying to rate this, mostly because of my personal issue trying to find out what demon it was and what body it was in. I found that to be rather difficult and somewhat deserving of a knock in grade. Obviously, I'm not everyone in the world. If people are having a better time and easier time grasping this concept than I am, then maybe, just maybe, I have something to work on. But that is it. Thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure to hit that subscribe button. Go pick yourself up a new watermelon. Stay tuned for more watermelon ratings, and I will see you in the next one.